Hello Year 5 and welcome to your maths lesson for today. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put multiplication to one side, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with our division part of our unit. Once we've come to the end of our division part of the unit, we're going to do some recap lessons and primarily focus it on the lessons that we struggle with. So we might have a couple more multiplication lessons and maybe the odd division lesson before we do our end of term assessment. So I'm going to give you a bit of a break from the multiplication and we're going to focus on division for this week, and then the following week we'll do some recap lessons, okay? So let's do a little bit of practice though for our retrieval practice. So I would like you to have a go at answering these 4 questions, please. Okay, so pause the video and have a go. Okay, so what is the area of a square with a side length of 6? We know a square has got 4 equal sides, so 4 lots of 6. But we know when we're multiplying, we multiply the length and the width. So 6 times 6 is going to give us 36, but it's got to be centimetres squared because it's an area question. What is 24 multiplied by 3? So this is just simple 2-digit by 1, 72. Find the sum of 1,250 and 3,940. So find the sum. Sum means total. So to find the total, we need to add them. Okay, so if you add them together, we have 5,190. Write down a 4-digit number with 3 in the hundreds column. So this could be any number, okay, that looks like this. It could be any number in your thousands, tens and ones, as long as that third number there is a 3, okay? Well done if you got those ones correct. So let's move on and have a look at our fluency for today. So we are going to be primarily looking at dividing 2 digits by 1 digit today. So let's warm your brains up with your times tables, pause the video and have a go. Okay, 40 divided by 4, easy peasy, is 10. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now, number 3, 52 divided by 4. Now, if you might notice, know the answer is 13. And 13 was the sum of 10 and 3. And that's because if we did 40, add 12, gave us 52. So 52 divided by 4 was those 2 answers combined. And 84 divided by 7 is going to give us 12. So well done if you noticed that spotting of that pattern. So let's move on and have a look at our division for today. So here's my sum, 39 divided by 3. So I'm now going to partition them into my 3 different groups, okay? And I'm going to split them, okay, into my circles, okay? Easy peasy. I've divided it by 3 because I've got my 3 circles, and I've equally distributed them because I've got 4 in each one, okay? But I think there's a mistake. What mistake have I made? Right, okay, so I actually haven't got equal values within each of my circles. Okay, so let's try again then. So I have my 3 lots of 10s and I have my 1s. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use my place value chart here because I think this is going to help me more. Now, because I'm divided by 3, okay, I've got 3 equal rows. So I'm going to start with the biggest values. I'm going to start with my 10s. So I'm going to share my 10s out and put them into their 3 groups, okay? Now, I'm looking at how many 1s I've got left. And I'm looking at my 10s, which means I've partitioned 39, okay, by moving all of these counters over. Okay, so by partitioning into my 10s and my 1s, I have my 3 extra 1s here. So 3, 6, 9. We know 9 divided by 3 was going to give us 3. All you need to do is add each one together. So 10 and 3 gives us 13. Easy peasy. So let's see if we apply the same concept for this one. We've got 45 divided by 3. So again, I'm going to use my place value column. So I only need to have 3 lots of 10s and 3 lots of however many 1s. So again, let's start with our biggest one. I'm going to put my 3 10s there. However, I still have an additional 10 left over. So what could I do with that 10? Right, okay, so let's exchange it for some 1s. So we know that 10 lots of 1s, okay, give us 10. So let's exchange that and get rid of it. Now I'm looking at these numbers thinking, well, how am I going to work out how many of these need to go into my 1s column? So what we initially did is we partitioned 45 into 2 different multiples of 3. Multiples are what? Good, multiples are bigger. So multiples are bigger numbers within that 1 times table. So they're bigger numbers of our 3 times tables. So by partitioning them into the 2 multiples, I can now separate my 10s and my 1s. So now I know I've got 15 1s. So now what I'm going to do is my second division in my head. Well, I'm dividing by 3 and I've got 15 of them. And I know that 15 divided by 3 is 5. That means that each one of my sets of ones has to be 3 groups of 5. Okay, so if we just then read across, got 10 and 5 ones, answer 15. Easy peasy. Okay, so have a go at questions 1 to 4 on your worksheet and then come back and we'll explore some more questions. Okay, 51 divided by 3. Okay, so first of all, we need to think, well, how can we partition this? And we need to be looking for multiples of the number we're dividing by. Now, I could do it the easy way, and I could partition it into my tens and ones. That's what we tend to usually do for multiplication. But if I then needed to divide my 50 and my 1, I'm going to struggle to divide them both by 3. Okay, because that way, I'm going to end up with a decimal number. And I don't think we can cope with decimal numbers at the moment. So we need to think of some different numbers that are both multiples of 3 that we could divide that would total together to give us 51. So I'd pause the video and have a think. What 2 multiples do you think we could use for the number 51 that are both multiples of 3? Okay, good idea. So let's try 30 and 21 because we know we can divide 30 by 3 and we know we can divide 21 by 3. And we also know from part, whole that if I add these together, it's going to give me my total. Okay, so we know 30 divided by 3 is 10 and we know that 21 divided by 3 is 7. So all we need to then do is add those 2 numbers together and it gives us our answer of 17. So no counters, no gimmicks, no place value, simple extra partitioning there of our division facts. And all you need to do is then add them together. So based on that example from the previous slide, I want you to pause the video and have a think. What multiples of either 4 and 5 can we include in our part, whole models that are both multiples of the number you're dividing by and would add together to give us 75? Pause the video and have a think. Okay, well, if it was me thinking of 64, well, I know I've got a round number of 40, and I know to get from 40 to 64 is going to be 24. Now, both those numbers are both multiples of 4, because I can divide both those numbers equally by 4. So I know that 40 divided by 4 is 10, and 24 divided by 4 is 6. So what do I need to do now? Okay, well, then let's add them together. So 10 add 6, 16. Easy peasy. 75 divided by 5. Now we can have multiple different answers for this because we know that many of the multiples are either going to end in a 5 or a 0. So we could have any multiple here that's going to help us. But let's go for a round enough number. Let's go for 50 and 25. So 50 divided by 5 is going to give us 10 and 25 divided by 5 gives us 5. What do we need to do? All right then, let's add them together. 10 add 5, 15. Easy peasy. Let's apply it to a problem-solving question now. So, I'm going down the route of food here because I really like food. So there are 60 donuts, okay? And one box holds 4 donuts at a time. So you've got 60 donuts all together. One box has 4 donuts in. So, how many full boxes of donuts will there be? So our sum that we're going to be looking at is 60 divided by 4. Because we need to work out how many boxes of those donuts we're going to need. So obviously we're going to partition 60 into our tens. But if I use my place value, I'm dividing by 4. So I only need 4 lots of each of them. So let's move our tens over. So I've got my 4 tens. Now, I'm not dividing by anything bigger than that. So I've still got these 2 tens remaining. So what could I do with those 2 tens? Right, so well then let's partition them out then. So we've known that we've partitioned 60 into 40 and 20 because I partitioned my 4 lots of 10, which means I've now got to partition my 20. So I need to work out, well, how many 4s am I going to get in 20? So if I exchange those over now for my 21s, what I need to do now is I need to do 20 divided by 4. So I need to work out how many 4s there are in 20, and I know that that answer is 5. So I know that each one of my ones column needs to have 5 ones in it, okay? All I need to do now that's going to give me the answer is work out how many 10s and 1s there are all together, and that's going to tell me the number of boxes I have. So if we do 10 add 5, the answer is going to be 15. Now, how can I check that that answer is correct? Right, I could do the inverse. So this is important to check. So what I can do now is I can do 15 multiplied by 4. So now I can use my multiplication facts from last week. So if I now multiply 15 by 4, is that going to give me the answer 60? Pause the video, work it out on your sheet. Good, well done. So 15 multiplied by 4 is 60. So that's a good way to check that your calculation, your answer at the very end is correct. Okay. So what I'd like to do is have a go at questions 5 to 9 on your worksheet. I've also sent home some extra worksheets that I would like you to complete as well. Make sure you have a practice of all of these questions, and then tomorrow we're going to move on looking at dividing 3 digits by 1 digits. Okay, good luck, year 5.